Hello everyone, this is I spend all my money on RC cars and I can't afford to eat, so I use my kitchen as a workshop boy here, but you can call me Caleb with High Ground RC. I'm here with another video. I know I promised one last week with the update of the Traxxas Slash. Unfortunately, that didn't happen on time. Some things kind of got in the way, and this weekend I was actually out running some cars around, so didn't get to post a build video. I did take a build video, but unfortunately it didn't come out very well, so we're just going to go ahead and skip to the finished product. Had a GoPro footage of it, didn't quite come out how I wanted it to. So anyway, last time we talked, I was going through all the parts that I had for this beast that I was going to put together to make a ultimate Traxxas Slash Monster Slash, and I think we've done that. This is absolutely mental. I can't even tell you how fast this thing is, how uncontrollable it is, but at the same time it's so dang fun. It is the most fun I've had with a toy in I don't know how long. You could put an Xbox in front of me and I would laugh at it, and if the opportunity to play with this presented itself first. This is absolutely just the most fun I've had in such a long time. This thing is on 3S now. It spins the tires, it balloons the tires, it floats, it hops, it skips, all while doing every bit of 50 miles an hour. I haven't even been able to clock it yet. I actually had to go back down to the stock gearing, so this has gone back to the 19-tooth pinion, 90-tooth spur gear that came in the Slash originally, and because of the new motor, the new battery setup, and these big, meaty tires from Proline, this thing is a speed demon, and it's so fun because of it. Anyway, this is the finished product. Like I said, we have upgraded all kinds of stuff on this car. It is entirely sitting on a new chassis. As you can see here, we've got the low center of gravity chassis installed because this is the old high center of gravity chassis. I think I'm going to have some future plans for this. Stay tuned on that. Haven't quite decided what we're going to do, but it's definitely not just going to sit around and stay empty. So if we just look over here real quick, I've got some other things I want to talk about here too. We've got the new Proline Power Stroke shocks. I think I called these something different in the last video, so I just wanted to make sure that I specified these are the Power Stroke shocks. I have those front and rear. This is really nice because they do have the built-in preload in them, so you don't even have to take them off or put your little plastic cheap spacers in like what came on the Slash originally, such as these right here. These worked fine, but it's very nice to have everything integrated into it so you don't have to carry a bag of these or something like that. It's pretty cool to have that functionality. So as you can see, I still got the front bumper on from the original Slash, but we do have here in reserve the RPM bumper. The reason that this hasn't gone on yet is definitely not because I lost all the mounting screws on the bottom and it's being held together by a piece of duct tape currently, and that's why the 3 screws are in. That's got nothing to do with it. It's because I haven't been able to assemble a light kit. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. I do have the light kit sitting right here, along with all of my LEDs ready to go. I've got my splitter and everything like that ready to put this thing together. Just haven't found the time. This is getting towards the end of the school semester and things are absolutely crazy, so RCs are kind of getting pushed off to the side along with a lot of other stuff right now. So from what I've shown you, as far as parts go, everything that's on it includes the Proline extended body mounts, which I'd gone over in the last video, the Proline trenchers on Desperado rims. Then we've got, again, Proline trenchers, and the shocks are the same in the back as well with the extended body mounts. I did encounter a problem when I first took these body mounts out with my Slash body. I was using the short course body on it at the time. I did not trim it like I was kind of recommended to do by watching a lot of these videos. And as you can see, get a little closer here, it did end up ripping the body posts out the first time it flipped. These little set screws that it comes with, and this one here popped the body off, and you can see that it kind of ground against the concrete a little bit. So I've ordered new thumb screws for that, along with new set screws for that one as well. But it is really nice. This new system of set screws keeps you from having to worry about those nasty pins all the time, pricking your fingers and that kind of stuff. The only downside is I think if I had to make some sort of a product recommendation to Proline, I would say find a way to thread these into the body of this mount first, because I actually had to thread these in, and I know that a lot of people use these and have no complaints against them, but it did kind of surprise me when I had to thread these set screws in order to mount the body on, because the thumb screws, they come with an O-ring that's supposed to keep them all from separating and popping out and things, but the second that the body pushed up on the set screw, it just ripped it straight out of the plastic, and I had it put in all the way and everything. These two, for whatever reason, the driver's side rear and the passenger side front are really, they're in there good. I mean, I could pick the whole thing up on it if I wanted to, but for whatever reason, this one and this one here did not survive, and I can't explain why. There is one problem I encountered this weekend while trying to run this and get it kind of shaken out, is the passenger side shock is a bit loose. As you can see, kind of if I move it back and forth, not supposed to have a lot of play in it like it does. So kind of figured out that the shock tower here has stripped a little bit, and so it won't actually tighten down the screw all the way. So I did order, surprise surprise, RPM front shock tower, and just for worst case scenario, I got the rear shock tower as well. Just about 90% of the parts that are on this now are made by RPM. I love a lot of the parts I'm using. They feel really well made. Really the only parts I have any complaints about are these Proline body mounts for the time being. Of course, we got the rear bumper that's RPM as well. Then, like I had explained before, we're going with the 3S system on this. This ESC is rated up to 3S. The motor itself is rated, I think, up to 6, but we're not going to be doing that kind of power because this thing is way too small to be handling 6S, especially at my skill level right now. So we're going to stick with a 3S for right now. We've got the big ones here. We've got the little ones here, which I'll tell you about in just a second. And then we do have the gearing changed again, like I said, back to stock to kind of keep it from, first off, overheating, and second off, from just being way too fast to handle. Now, something I do want to show that is an upgrade from the previous radio setup that was in this is the new Flysky radio that we've got. So I'm going to turn this on and show you. I don't know if I went over this very much before. I know I explained I was getting it, but this is like probably the coolest radio you could ask for. I mean, it has a stylus actually, which I can't grab right now, I don't think. Actually, here we go, I can, to kind of show you how the functions of this thing work. Oh, well, there's a product flaw. The grabber area of the stylus just came out while I was trying to pull it out. Fantastic. Anyway, we'll go ahead and just show you with the touchscreen. So it is kind of cool. When you turn it on, you can just at a press of a button reverse things, which I know there's some other things that do that, but it's very nice to just have it in a really cool, clean display that's easy to understand with, and you don't have to worry about bumping any dials or anything like that. It's pretty intentional if you try to do anything here. As you can see, there's a lot of different settings on this, but I went out and took this weekend, and it's comfortable for one, and it's got a great range. I was running this thing all the way up the street, really far up the road, where it was barely still in sight, and this thing had great reception on it, so that's really cool. Just to kind of draw a comparison, this is what I was using before, the just regular old top qualifier by Traxxas. Uses double A's, kind of old school, you know, pretty basic concept. This has got the LiPo in it, 1700 mAh, so it's a really good battery to have in a controller. And then, of course, you probably saw in the beginning of the video here, I'm going to do a new body. Kind of going to do like a little monster truck look to it, but at the same time, keep it pretty sporty. And this is going to help a lot with this extra wheel travel. You know, it was really difficult trying to get the Slash body trimmed up, and I still have it. I may try to make it work at some point, but trying to trim it for this purpose was just kind of getting a little bit too difficult, and I didn't want to really tear the body up with no reason to, and I can probably put it back on the old chassis and use it for something different. So went ahead and bought the 1988 Chevy 1500 body. I'm painting this up to actually look like my truck, which is going to be pretty cool. The paint is not done yet, and I did get a little frisky and took it out before it's fully painted, so yeah, there's some scratches on it, but you won't notice once it's all done. It's, you know, literally it'll buff. So anyway, then I wanted to show real quick just kind of a selection of parts that came off of this, just to give a visualization of everything that was replaced. So here's rear bumper. Then we've got, of course, the ESC, the motor. We've got all of our shocks in here. We have even the battery cradle has been replaced with a taller battery cradle. This is our rear bumper mount. And then we've got A-arms have all been replaced with the RPM hollow style control arms. We've replaced the Traxxas receiver with a Flysky receiver to use our new controller with. So a bunch of stuff, and then this is the old 92 pinion that, or spur gear that I actually chewed up pretty badly when I put that new motor in. So anyway, that's enough of the Slash. We're gonna go ahead and talk about some other stuff here soon. Just to give you a quick preview, let's just scroll up and take a look here. So we did do some crawling this past weekend. I have some video footage of it. Still trying to figure out how to edit it the way that I like it. May not end up making enough time to put that one up as an actual video, but we're going to try to use some of it somewhere, somehow, maybe as an intro or an outro, so you can just kind of see what we were doing. A friend of mine had his Ascender up here. It's the Blazer Ascender, was pretty cool, and then he had an RGT, which is a really good option for a cheap crawler. If you're looking for a scale crawler, you might want to go check one of those out. He has one that he's modified quite a bit. It looks like a Land Rover. He had it up here, and we were driving all that stuff around this weekend and just kind of taking them out and seeing what they could do in the local parks. So real quick, I did want to say I do have a new motor now in the Everest 10. This is the old, I think this is a 45 or 54 turn motor or something like that, and now it's going to have a 27 turn motor in it. It's an RC 4-wheel drive motor that I actually picked up for 10 bucks. It's a really cheap motor, but honestly it's doubled the speed and it looks like it's really improved the torque. So it's going to be a lot more fun to play with. It was kind of a drag before because it was so slow and it just didn't excite me. And now that it's got some speed, I think we'll probably end up going out and doing some crawling with it. And then this is our newest arrival for today. This is a Storm Monster Truck Thunder. It's a Chinese brand, and it kind of is sold under a variety of different names. But I bought this from Banggood, and it got here surprisingly in about 2 weeks. I don't know if it's shipped from China or the US, but either way, from kind of an AliExpress type store, that's pretty darn fast. So I did just get this out today. It's really cool. It's a cheap alternative to like an Traxxas or a little mini, 16th scale, 18th scale truck. It was, believe it or not, $36, and it runs on a lithium-ion battery, not a lithium polymer battery like a LiPo. It runs on a lithium-ion battery like you'd have in your cell phone. It's a 1700 mAh, and it is a pretty sweet little truck. It supposedly will do about 36 kilometers an hour, which is, I think, 20 some odd miles an hour. But for right out of the box for $36, it's a great little truck, and I'm going to try to do some bashing with it, get some videos. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get good quality videos from a GoPro edited in to a usable, kind of an interesting enough format on YouTube. So anyway, that's going to conclude this video for right now. Look for some more content with the crawlers in the future and the further updates on the Slash to complete this build. And as always, thank you guys for watching.